know what I see. And I know what I feel. But I still believe God. One more time, I know what I heard. It don't sound good all the time. And I know what I see. It looks real dark. And I know what I feel. Sometimes the pain is real, y'all. I still believe God. Come on, everybody, sing this with me. I believe God. I don't care what I'm going through. I believe God. Through the good times, through the bad times, through the stressful times, I believe God. No matter I hear, I see, or feel, I still believe God. Come on, all over the world, say it with me. I believe God. Nothing can stop us. Nothing can hinder us. Now faith, no matter what, I hear, I'll see, or feel. I have a confidence that he that has begun this good work in me, I believe God. Come on, y'all, say it. I believe God. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. No matter what, I hear, I see, or I feel. Oh, I believe God. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and the rivers will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched. The flame will not burn you. For I am the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. 1,000 shall fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. I believe God. Through my loneliness, through my brokenness, I've been wounded, I've been dejected, I felt disenfranchised. Oh, but I believe God. I've been uncomfortable. Oh, through all of my idiosyncrasies, through my ups, through my downs, through my proclivities, through my weaknesses, I believe God. Oh, I love you, Lord. Oh, I magnify you, Lord. I believe God. I believe God. I believe God. If you know that God is your provider, let me see you lift your hands and give God some glory. Come on, begin to open up your mouth and let's give God a praise in here. Come on, everybody, let's do it again. Everybody lift it up. One more time. You are still my provider, so my needs will be met. You are still my healer, and though I can't see it yet, I am still gonna praise you, and I won't forget who you are. Everybody lift it up, say who you are. Come on, everybody, say you are still my provider. Say you are still my so my needs will be met. Come on, say you are still my healer. Though I can't see it. Come on, I'm still gonna praise you. Though I won't forget who you are. Everybody, come on, say who you are. Come on, let's say it one more time. Everybody say, you are still my provider. So my needs, you are still my healer. You are still my healer. I can't see it. I am still, and I won't forget who you are. Everybody lift it up, say who you are. Come on, say, you have not stopped. You have not stopped. Say you have not stopped. You have not stopped. Say you have not stopped. You have not stopped. You have not stopped being God. So here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you're mighty God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worth, altogether wonderful to me. Help me say, here I am to worship. Here I am. Here I am to bow. Here I am. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're all together. You're all together love. All together. All together worth. All together. All together wonderful. Come on, let's sing it again. Here I am, Lord. Here I am to worship. Here I am. Here I am to bow. Say, here I am, Lord. Here I am to say that you're my God. You're all together, all together. You're all together lovely, all together worthy. You're wonderful to me.
People all over the world, come on, lift him up. He's a mighty wonder. Mighty wonder. No one is greater than you, my God. No one. Hey. Mighty to save, mighty in battle. Our God is a mighty wonder. He wins every battle with his great victory. Our God is a mighty wonder.
Well, this is the day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and we shall be glad in it. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord, or the digital, virtual, cyber sanctuary. It is in him I live. It is in him I move. It is in him that I have my very being. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. For greater is he on the inside of me than he that is in the world. So let Mount Zion rejoice, and let the daughters of Judah be made glad. I got good news tonight. That God is a good God, even on a bad and challenging day, week, month, year. God is still a good God, and we should give him glory. We should give him honor. We should give him all of the praise, all of the adoration that is due our God. Now listen, we may be having a bit of a technical difficulty tonight on my side, the StreamYard side of the platform that we use. I can see your comments. I can't see your pictures, but I can see your comments. And from time to time, we do have these little technical difficulties, but nothing is going to stop us from moving forward. All right. So I want you to come on the platform tonight. I have a lot to discuss. I have many things I want to broach tonight by way of Bible study. And I really want to get in tonight on this emotional intelligence piece. I'm really going to get into, I'm really going to drive into that on tonight. And there's so many things that have been pressing on my mind in particular. I better not do that, because once I start flowing and talking, I don't go through my rules of engagement and all those other things. But let me do that. Let me do the rules of engagement first, and let's set the platform. There are a few announcements I want to make, maybe on the front end and on the back end. Kind of depends on how I get through this. But there's a lot going on. Sunday is going to be our youth and young adult Sunday, and it's going to be tremendous. I've got Michael Gatlin preaching. Trinity Miller is going to be preaching. I'm going to be I think we're going to do a threesome in terms of ministry on that particular Sunday. This coming Sunday, it's going to be just tremendous. You don't want to miss it. It's in our in-person worship that starts at 12 noon. All right, starts at 12 noon. So I want everyone, please mark your calendars. This coming Sunday at 12 noon, our youth and young adult Sunday, and we're going to have a tremendous time. All right. Let's do this, Frankie. Let's go through the rules of engagement. And if I miss something, Frankie, just throw it up on the screen, and I'll make mention of it. Of course, you know, I'm very excited that the song "I Still Believe God" is in the top 100 on the Billboard gospel playlist. So I'm extremely excited and delighted about that. And I pray that you all are pushing that prophetic message out there to the world. I know what I heard. I know what I see. I know what I feel, but I still believe God. I want you to push that message out there. Okay. Now let's do this. Rules of engagement. As you come on the platform, let me know the city and the state that you're watching the platform from. The city and the state where you're watching the program from. All right. The city and state, very important. I see Sammy Work, one of my members from Patterson, New Jersey. Good to see you, Sammy, on the platform tonight. I see Justina Sessions all the way from Dallas, Texas. Justina is on the platform tonight. Good to see you, Justina. I see Kim Tucker from Detroit, Michigan. Kim, good to see you on the platform tonight. Barbara Waring, all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Good to see you, Barbara, on the platform tonight. Juanita Wins from St. Stephen's, South Carolina. Good to see you, Juanita, on the platform with us this evening. Destiny Hamilton from Chatham. I don't know, is that Savannah, Georgia? That's it, Savannah, Georgia. Good to see you, Destiny. Thank you so much for being with me on tonight. My nephew, Big Rick Mayfield from Paramus, New Jersey. I love you, Rick. Good to see you, man, on the platform with me tonight. Christopher, my new member, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. That's Suki. I hope I said that right. Suki's husband's Chris. Good to see you, Chris, man. Good to see you on the platform tonight. Beverly Brown, Newark, New Jersey. Good to see you, Bev, on the platform with us tonight. Suki, there she go. That is the beautiful daughter of Bishop Christopher Cox and Mother Cox. Good to see you, Suki, on the platform tonight. My head of security, Michael Cologne, Sparta. Mike, I'll see you in the morning. I'm gonna make this announcement later, but I'm gonna be in Roanoke, Virginia on tomorrow. I think Lynchburg, ministering tomorrow night at a conference. Okay, so anyone in that area, meet me there tomorrow night. Good to see you, Mike Cologne, on the platform tonight. Michael J., that's Elder John LaRota. Good to see you, John, on the platform with me this evening. Good to see you. Earl James, my musician, the man of God. Earl, it's good to see you on the platform. We're going to be making a special announcement about Earl real shortly. Okay, Earl, good to see you, man, on the platform. Denise Burney, Niecy, good to see you, Niecy Burney from Somerset, New Jersey. My grandbaby and Michael, good to see you on the platform tonight. Abronia from Chicago, Illinois. Good to see you, Abronia, tonight. Good to see you, Abronia. Love you. Thank you for being with us on the platform. Brianna Massey from Rochester, Pennsylvania. I pray I pronounced that right. Brianna, thank you for being with us on the platform tonight. Adrian, the woman of God, all the way from Suffolk, Virginia. Adrian, it's good to see you. I'm going to tell you something very funny, Adrian. On Sunday night, when I saw you log off, I was looking at a clock here in the studio that did not move forward. And saints, I taught so long Sunday night, I am so embarrassed. I was looking at the wrong time. But when I saw Adrian logging off, I said, she's logging off kind of early. Adrian's leaving kind of early. And then I checked my other clock and found out she wasn't logging off early. The man of God was going too long. You know, I don't preach until no 10 o'clock on no Sunday night. But Adrian, thank you. It's good to see you. I think the teaching was good. I think it was kind of good, but I understand that was rather late. Cynthia Jones, Patterson, New Jersey. Good to see you, Cynthia, on the platform tonight. Linda Green, the woman of God, Charlotte, North Carolina / Maryland. Linda is in charge of the online members as it relates to getting me information and getting you the proper information for the pastor's anniversary, anytime you want to communicate with the ministry, because you are Cyber Church, you're part of our ministry. So I always want you to feel like you are connected. All right. So always contact the church via the email. And I think Frankie will probably put that email address up. Is highwaychurchassistant@gmail.com. So that will be a good way for you to stay in contact with Linda, highwaychurchassistant@gmail.com. We don't give out personal email addresses. We give out the church email address because this is about the ministry. All right. Okay, that's good. Who else is on the platform, Frankie, on tonight? Kenyon, the man of God from Oklahoma City. Good to see you, Kenyon, on the platform tonight. I also saw Bishop Tabari Burkett on the platform tonight. He's a good friend of mine. He's a great man of God. And I am grateful that he would take time out of his Wednesday evening to come and sit on the platform with us on this evening. I love you, Bishop. Good to see you, man, on tonight. Michael, good to see you on the platform from Paterson, New Jersey. Now, listen, that's the first rule of engagement. The second rule of engagement, and y'all forgive me if I didn't call your name tonight, but I promise you keep commenting and I'll get to you. I promise I will get you. I promise to you. Okay, look at the screen. You're going to see 4 social media platforms come up: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which is now known as X, and YouTube. Now, I push the YouTube channel because I want all of you to become YouTube subscribers. Okay, that helps us to reach the globe, the world, with the euangelion, the gospel of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So that's extremely, extremely important. Okay, that's vitally important that you all do that. Okay, so that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, known as X. And I told you I may be coming off. I may not be. I'm coming off of Twitter. And I'll give you the new platform that we're going to be on. And I'll let you know when I'm coming off of that. But I want to encourage you to be a YouTube subscriber, Liston Page 2 Ministries. Very important. Please become a YouTube subscriber. Download the mobile app. And there you will find what I will call just a repository of ministry that's going to bless your life. Okay. Now, the third rule of engagement, we're a highly interactive platform. Okay. So I want us to be interactive. I want to see the comments in the chat. I want to see narratives, questions, comments, statements. But most importantly, I want you to be kind, loving, congenial, affable, engaging with each other. Okay, I don't want you to be rude. I don't want you to be animus. I don't want you to be hostile. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to be as loving and as hospitable as you possibly can. We can't say we love God and we don't appreciate and we don't love each other. Okay, so do that for me, and I know it will bless us, and it will also bless you. Okay, now let's do this. Start putting the names of your loved ones in the chat tonight that we're going to be praying for your families. Okay, so start putting the name of your loved ones in the chat. John LaRota has put in the comment section a praise report already. He said, my niece is home and recovering. She had a stroke in her car, but thank God. Highway Nation, thank you for all of your prayers. Okay, so we want to continue to pray for our brothers and our sisters. Put the name of your loved ones in the chat. Remember, miracles are in the air. Miracles are in the air. I'm going to say it again. Miracles are in the air. Okay, I'm believing God tonight. I'm really believing God on tonight. Now, saints, let me go right here. There's a lot of things going on in the body of Christ, and that's why we have to pray so earnestly. Okay, pray for my mother, Dr. Hazel R. Page. Pray for my father, the presiding prelate, Bishop Liston Page Sr. Pray. I'm telling you, pray. There's so many things going on. So many things going on that we need to seek the face of God for. I just see Kersha Riley in the comment section. Her mother had successful breast cancer removal surgery on today. Hallelujah. That is something for us to thank God for, to praise God for, to celebrate. Okay. Successful cancer removal surgery on today. All right. We're giving God glory. We're giving God praise. What did I say? Miracles are in the air. Put the names of your loved ones in that chat. Put it in that chat. God's going to do it. I'm telling you, God is going to do it. I'm praying for one of my adjutants, Legend, who has the flu. We're praying for Legend on tonight that God would touch his body and raise him up. Now let me get back to this. There's a lot going on. And if you're not careful, if you're not sensitive and spiritual, you will become overwhelmed and overwrought with the type of things that you see on social media, the things that you read, the things that your life is exposed to. If you're not strong in your faith, it will really challenge you. I'm telling you, it will challenge you. It will challenge your happiness. It will challenge your resolve. It will really challenge your relationship with the Lord. If you really don't have one, if you're not strong, if you're easily shaken, what we see can be extremely challenging. But saints, I want you to be encouraged on tonight. I really want you to be encouraged on tonight. All right. And I'm going to look at a text of scripture in Matthew's gospel, Matthew chapter number 6. But before I do that, I'm going to ask Frankie to bring Dr. Tanisha Snowden on the platform with me tonight, and also the Honorable Bishop Darren Gale. Bring him on the platform with me tonight as well. All right. And I want to get started tonight. Now, I'm sure, I don't know if they're having any technical difficulties, but I'm going to forge right ahead. Tanisha, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Bishop. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. We got a few things going on, but I mean, for the most part, we're doing good. And I'm gonna drill into something that I know you'll be able to help us with tonight. Okay, Bishop Gale, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Bishop Page. Good to see you, sir, as well as you, Dr. Snowden.
Man, it's good to see you as well. I've got something exciting. I don't know if I would say it's sobering, but I think it's rather exciting that I want to discuss tonight, because there's a lot of things going on. Social media, a lot of things in the news. There's just a lot of things that we are dealing with in our society today. But Tanisha, I wanna broach the conversation tonight about happiness. Okay, but I want us probably let's look at maybe a text of scripture I want to start out with, and Let's look at Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter number 6. Very familiar text of scripture, the verses 25 through 34. And that's kind of the foundation where I want to start at. Okay. But I want to look at Tanisha, Bishop Gale, increasing our happiness. Increasing our happiness. Now, it's no secret that the world, society is obsessed with happiness.
Oh, yes.
After all, the pursuit of happiness is enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. But happiness is fleeting. How can we find it and keep it alive is the question. How can I find happiness? Because when we think of happiness, we typically think of things that bring us immediate pleasure, like a decadent meal, favorite book, a vacation. These type of pleasures bring us what we call happiness, right? But it's only temporary. It's fleeting. It's not permanent. We're always chasing something. We're always looking for the next challenge to overcome. We want promotions. We want a new car. We want marriage, a significant other. We think that's going to make us happy. And this leads to the belief that if something in that realm happens, we're going to be happy normally. Okay, now, of course, outside of knowing the Lord Jesus Christ, we base our happiness on these type of things. And although these major events that may take place make us happy at first, research has shown that this happiness doesn't last. That's what research shows. Okay, now, a Northwestern University student measured the happiness levels of regular people and people who had won large lottery prizes the previous year. And the researchers were surprised to discover that the happiness rating of the two groups were practically identical. Okay. A University of Illinois study found that people who earn the most, more than 10 million annually, that's outside of some people's cognitive understanding, are only a smidge happier. Watch this. Than the average Joes and Janes who work for them. The mistaken notion that major life events dictate your happiness and sadness is so prevalent that psychologists have a name for it. It's called impact bias. Okay, now the reality is that event-based happiness is fleeting. Studies have shown that true happiness, watch this, or life satisfaction works a bit differently. Psychologists at the University of California have discovered fascinating things about happiness that could change our lives. Dr. Sonia, for example, is a psychology professor at Riverside campus who is known among her peers as, watch this, the Queen of Happiness. She began happiness as a grad student and never stopped studying it. She devoted her whole career on the study of happiness. And she points out when extremely positive negative events happen. Watch this. Such as buying a bigger house or losing a job. They temporarily increase or decrease our happiness. But we eventually drift back to a set point. Okay? So in her study, she has a list of things that should make someone happy. But here's the question. I believe Aristotle was right when he said happiness depends upon ourselves. Happiness is synthetic. You either create it or you don't. Even when you accomplish great things, that accomplishment, that high from success, it doesn't last. It won't make you happy on its own. You have to work. Hear me. You have to work to make and keep yourself happy. And supremely happy people have honed their habits that maintain their happiness. And they do this day in and day out. And these habits require what's called, watch this, emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence happiness. Now, with all of that being said, before I even read the scripture, Tanisha, when one of your clients come to you and say that they are unhappy, what are some of the things that you ask them about their unhappiness and what would make them feel better or at least be happy? In the sacred space, religious space, we kind of denigrate happiness and we say people should have joy. Joy is more intrinsic. Happiness is about happenings or events. But talking to a client that is always sad or always struggling, maintaining some level of happiness, what do you tell them?
I think that that's a great question. And I also think that it's loaded. And I say that in the sense that so many of my clients struggle with depression, and happiness is a difficult thing to find. And it's interesting enough that people are not always sad in lieu of being happy. Sometimes they live in perpetual states of anger, right? Which is can be symbolic or symptomatic of depression. These like strong emotional feelings or being apathetic where they don't have enjoyment in life at all. So when someone is coming in talking about this, I want to know how long these feelings have lasted and if they have the capacity to remember the origin of when these emotions began for them. And a lot of people, if they've suffered with it a long time, they can definitely give you an idea of the time of life that it occurred, but they are usually very detached from the instances that created this unhappy state. And so what I found is that it almost takes 2 years in therapy before people are really ready to deal with the thing that has caused the unhappiness to exist in them, because they have learned how to live in a perpetual state of melancholy.
Wow. Wow. Bishop Gale, hearing Dr. Snowden say that,
yes,
I'm sure we have come in contact with a myriad of people, particularly in pastoring congregations that are sad most of the time, are melancholy most of the time, are they're up and they're down. I call it the ebb and flows of life. They're up and they're down.
what have you noticed about those people and their happiness? What have you noticed?
Well, I've noticed that for the most part, they seem to be able to find negativity even in the things that should be considered positive. Also, I've noticed, Dr. Page and Dr. Snowden, that they're the most doubtful set of people. Even when you speak well of them and you're speaking from a truthful place, somewhere in their psyche, this has to be exaggerated truth, as if to suggest that I'm not deserving to be viewed or spoken about in that context. That's what's been my observation, and sometimes it's rather hard to push beyond the negativity and the self-doubt that everything that we preach and teach from the scriptures is also available for you to be a recipient of.
You know, there's something I want us to consider, and Bishop Gail, as you was talking, this kind of hit me. It's something called self-fulfilling prophecy.
Wow.
Okay. Self-fulfilling prophecy is a psychological phenomena that occurs when a person's expectations lead to the expected outcome. Now, this can happen because a person's beliefs influence their action.
Okay.
Let me try to say it another way.
That's good, Bishop.
If you expect things to be bad or expect things to be challenging, when it manifests, you're not surprised.
Right.
Because it's something that you expect. I'm trying to come up with another one that may be easier. Okay, a self-fulfilling prophecy can occur when an initial belief or expectation influences one's behavior in a way that ultimately leads them to the fulfillment of that belief, even if it was initially false.
Wow.
So it doesn't have to be true, but because you so strongly believe it, what you believe leads you to the fulfillment of something that it didn't have to be. Does that make sense? It's, you know what it's like? It's like, I know I'm going to get divorced because everybody in my family is divorced. So you go into the marriage or the relationship saying, you know what? I know it's not going to last. I just know it's not going to last because no marriages in my family last. And then you talk yourself into something that didn't have to happen, but because you're so psychologically jaded. Can I use that term, Tanisha? Psychologically jaded. You're so psychologically jaded that what you keep thinking and believing, it happens. Now, given you just throwing that out there, Tanisha, can happiness be the same thing? It can people talk their way into being fulfilled, being happy, being satisfied, or does it actually have to happen first before they're happy?
It's interesting that you say that because, I mean, if you do research on people that believe in like mindfulness, and you actually look at what being mindful does to the brain, as they consistently center themselves in the present, literature shows us that it changes the way that their brain is structured, and they are better and they are healthier and they have different perspectives, right? And so mindfulness in and of itself is a way of thinking, right? Added to mindfulness are oftentimes people who believe in speaking positive affirmations over their life, right? And so you'll find that the more people who lend to a positive mindset tend to have a more positive outlook and positive outcomes. And I argue that the one of the reasons, outside of the fact that it's spiritual, um, in a natural sense, part of the reason why this may occur for people is because when your mindset is wired in a way, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to seek out experiences that validate how you think, right? So I would argue that you see happy people speaking positively, but also looking for positive exchanges that validate what they believe on the inside. So it looks like they lead in a direction that is more positive because all they're after is positive things. Kind of reminds me of a scripture to say, I'm paraphrasing it, to be carnally minded is death, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So it's like that mindset, when a person sets their mind in a positive or a happy state, they are going to find more things that bring them happiness because that's what they're looking for.
That's good. Let me read a scripture to you. And Darren, I'm gonna read this scripture. Then I want you to piggyback off of what Tanisha just shared with us. But I want to get this text out here because this will be our foundational text. But there's another text I'm going to use to back it up. Okay. Matthew 6, verse number 22, though. That's really the one I want to look at. Outside of 25 through 34. Look at verse 22. It says, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light, right? But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light is you, in you, is darkness, how great is the darkness? Okay, so he's talking about having a sound, healthy eye, our perspective, right? He says the eye is the lamp of the body. It shines light. It shines truth. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. That means you'll be able to look at yourself and make a proper assessment even of people. But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness because I'm not looking at my body through the proper lens of interpretation. It's jaded, it's dark. If then the light in you is darkness, and that's right there, the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? Okay, Darren, now me reading that text, what comes to mind along with what Dr. Snowden already said?
Well, internally, if it's dark, then quite naturally, externally, it's also going to be dark. Because the reality is the way we observe life internally does affect how we observe life outside or externally. And I think, Bishop, one of the things that you're echoing from this text, it would seem to suggest that we have to take care of inside or internal matters first, because that's going to ultimately affect how we view our world from the outside. And then listening to Dr. Snowden, it would suggest to me that in her context, she has to let her clients deal with the reality of what's going on in their context. And I think, Bishop, oftentimes, even in my personal life, I've come to realize we have to deal with reality. Faith should not be used as escapism for us not to deal with the things that needs to be addressed, possibly changed or altered in our life. And I'll say this, Bishop, and pause. I think when we really discover who we truly are, then maybe our emotions or our seeking for happiness won't consume us, and we will realize that in life we're going to have the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, but there's a level of consistency because of the relationship that we authentically have with God.
That's good, Darren. That's good. You know, as you were talking, as Tanisha was talking, as I looked at that scripture, I'm looking at the excursus of it, of the exposition of it. And if your eye is healthy, and of course, the eye is a metaphor here. If your eye is full of generous or has a generous disposition, if your eye is unhealthy, if your eye is envious and stingy. Now, I'm throwing that out there because that is the whole context that starts in verse number 19 that goes to number 34. Is really talking about wealth, money, materialism, all of those type of things, which we say in the natural fulfill us and make us happy. And I think in my opinion, theologically, I think that how can I say it? When we put all of our trust in earthly things, you're not going to be happy. Now, you may have temporary bouts of fulfillment here and there, but there's always going to be an absence. There's always going to be a longing. There's always going to be some level of unfulfillment when you put all of your trust in material things. And then that self-fulfilling prophecy piece.
Okay.
You know, we always struggled financially. Now that I have a job and I've got money, I live like a pauper. I live like I don't make any money at all because I'm afraid that one day I'm going to be broke, and I don't want to be broke. So instead of me enjoying now that I have a career and a job, I try my best to live within a certain construct of, I won't say poverty, but frugalness, if that's a word. Being frugal, being rigid, being, we call it fiduciary responsible. I think sometimes the fear of where we were, going back to that place, can make us more unhappy than our success. I'm not where I was, but there's such a fear and an anxiety and a trepidation about going back. I can't enjoy where I am. Does that make sense, Tanisha?
100%.
Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Two things came to mind. One thing came to mind was I thought about an interview that Will Smith did years ago, and he talked about how he doesn't sleep well at night because he has this fear of being poor again. And he is far from being poor. Hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, constantly working, constantly having money to make money, but always worried he won't ever have enough money. And it made me think about this idea of like how if you do not deal with the roots of your previous experiences, that they don't go away because they're undealt with. They reappear in your promised land or in the place that you have deemed as happy or the place called there. And you end up in a worse predicament because now you have more And the more that you have did not produce what you thought that it was going to produce. So now you're unhappy that you don't feel better and you don't know how to resolve these things. And at the end of the day, if poverty, for example, is your Achilles heel, then dealing with why poverty or what about poverty is the problem for you that made you feel like you never want to experience it again, and healing from that root thing will then allow you to enjoy or appreciate overflow in a different way, because you won't see it as the happiness. You will see it as an extension to your life that can add to your life, but it is not your life. And I think that what we're dealing with a lot of times with people is they do not want to deal with the root issues of things. They want to ignore or suppress root issues and focus on things that they can put on top of it like an ornament to make it better. Healing is necessary on every level for you to be able to move to the next with peace.
That's good. Let's do this. Put up on the screen, Frankie, chromatophobia and the meaning of that. Chromatophobia. I think that will give us a good understanding of where a lot of people may be. Chromatophobia is the fear of spending money. A person with this phobia has extreme fear and anxiety about spending money and will try to avoid it as much as possible. Okay. Now, Tanisha, Darren, I don't know if this one is Will Smith or me, but look at plutophobia. Plutophobia. Plutophobia is the intense, irrational fear of money or wealth. It can manifest as a fear of having money or wealthy people or even the actual money itself. Now, I think out of those two, Tanisha, I think that they're pretty prevalent in people who are not accustomed to having much or a lot, or they hit the jackpot and then they start living like a pauper. If I can use that term. What do you think, Darren? That was good.
Well,
thank you. That was good.
All right. Well, I mean, doesn't that call for a sense of rediscovery, Bishop Page and Dr. Snowden, that you have to now rediscover who you are? I think it was Tyler Perry, if I may add to the Will Smith quote, who said that he had to get around people who had been wealthy so he could learn how to adapt to that community, because for all his life he had been poor. So I believe, Bishop, and of course I stand to be corrected, that it calls for us to rediscover ourselves in every season of our lives. Another thing that I want to add that I found to be pretty amazing, what you brought to the forefront, is that sometimes, and of course Dr. Snowden hit on it too, we can actually destroy our possibility based upon what we've gone through, because we are so afraid that we don't return back to where we're coming out of. So I'm in the promised land, if I can use Dr. Snowden's expression, but I keep thinking about Egypt. So I want to do everything I can so I don't end up in Egypt. And what is so powerful is we will lose more in the promised land because we've ascertained, we've garnered more. And then we can't live a life of freedom because we're constantly thinking about, I may lose it. It may be another divorce. It may be another breakup. It may be another, whatever the negative that occurred in our life. And so, and I think that that's the reality of many, many people. And it really doesn't allow you to live a life filled with balance and true joy.
That's good, Darren. I was going to make a statement to you and Tanisha, and I wanted to see how you all thought about this statement. I believe happy people don't obsess over things they can't control. That's what I believe. You know, I believe healthy people and both of you can chime in on this. I believe healthy people are ready to be informed. They want to know the ins and the outs, but they don't allow the ins and the outs to cause them to be fretting, to be nervous, because they understand many things are beyond our control. There's just some things, let me tell you something. I don't care how much water we drink, how many vegetables I eat. It's inevitable. It's just inevitable because of life that you're susceptible to illness and sickness. I don't care. You could be a germophobia. I don't care. Wear the mask. It's inevitable. I mean, it's just inevitable that you're not going to be healthy every single day. This is a human body. You're going to be sick, but I take precautions to be healthy, but I'm not in angst about it. I'm not so worried about it that I can't enjoy my health. I'm healthy and I'm worried about getting sick, but I'm not sick yet. Does that make sense, Tanisha and Darren?
I think so. I think it's interesting, though. I think that what you are describing, you said it really. I like what you said about healthy, and then you added to that a whole or healed person has that mindset. Because what you're describing to me sounds even more evolved than happiness, and more sounds like joy. Because joy is a state of being that exists without the need for things to be up or down.
That's right.
It's within, right? And so when you have joy within, what you described to me was you have this awareness of the reality that life does what life does. And in spite of what life does, I will find peace wherever I am. In the midst of every chaos, I'm at a funeral, I'm going to find peace. I am, in the middle of a storm, somebody's sick, I'm not well, I'm going to find peace. And I think that is so powerful and the ideal, not only for every Christian, but every human to get to a place in their life where they're seeking after that place of wellness. And it really comes from people being able to be honest with themselves and to deal with what's on the table in their own lives. And when they can deal with what's going on with them and accept things as they are, they can take on a stance of what you're describing. And I think that all these conversations that we've been having over months is helping people to get closer to those ideas of just being able to deal with what's on the table. Whatever you're presenting on a specific week, this is what's on the table for me. If I can accept it, if I can grieve, if I can process through it, I now have capacity to be able to be well, regardless to what state I find myself in.
Tanisha, I want to ask you a question. Darren, you can answer this question as well, but something just hit me. And I think I'm guilty of this. I'm getting back on the couch. I'm climbing back on the couch right now. I'm thinking I'm guilty of this. And I find myself, and I know it's not good. I know it's not good. And I've got to stop this. I find myself getting into conversations with people about things that woulda, coulda, shoulda, or talking about if it doesn't work, if it does work. That's not really what I wanted, but I'm gonna receive whatever God has for me. I find myself in these type of conversations, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I woke up this morning and I said to myself, I gotta stop talking myself out of something that God has given me, presented to me, that could be good. But here's the problem. When you surround yourself with people that are contagious with the same type of mindset, they keep dragging you in to conversations about stuff that It's not going to happen that way. But you can make it happen that way if we just keep on talking about it going to happen that way. And I think, you know, when you surround yourself with the right people, in my opinion, now Darren, you can chime in my opinion, it builds confidence and it stimulates creativity. And it's flat out fun. I mean, it's nothing like being around a person that's positive, that every 5 minutes, let me ask you a question. I mean, I find myself in them type of conversations. And I'm saying, I woke up this morning and said, Liston. Either you got to stop letting them drag you into these conversations, or you got to just tell them straight up, we can't talk like this. No, stop. Because what happens is, you know, you're getting older. What's going to happen? I mean, it's all speculation. Am I talking right, Tanisha? I mean, it takes so much out of you, and you find yourself arguing about stuff that didn't happen.
Listen,
you know what, Bishop? Shakespeare says, never allow another man's tragedy to become your fear. And I'm fully aware that we all can have people in our context that will, Dr. Snowden, show you what they call to be, you know, reality. What if this happens? Then what you gonna do then? And say it don't work, then what's your B plan? And I can relate to that, Bishop, because I've had people in my context to say different things pertaining to matters that was dear to me. However, I've come to realize, Dr. Page, that although many may do it from a pure place, they will cancel what God has sent in your life to stay. Whether it's a partner, whether it's a dream, whether it's a new aspiration, whether it's a new quest, they will cancel it. They will speak you out of what God has sent to bless you, because they can't relate, because in their context, it's always up, then it goes away. It always comes and then it's gone. And so, Bishop, at times, even those that's closest to us, we have to limit that particular conversation, because I can't allow for you to make me start doubting on what God has sent to be a blessing. And I'm not just limited it, Dr. Snowden, to a spouse, whatever it may be. For example, Bishop Page, you have a song that's out. For a person that would say, well, we only know Bishop Page to be a preacher. What are you doing singing, man? I mean, what do you think you're Marvin Winans? You think you're Marvin Sapp? What are you doing? We just know you from yeah and say yeah. That's what we know you for these 3 decades. But don't allow no one, I would venture to say, to put us in a box and keep us suppressed when God's got so much more for us. And you're right, Bishop. I'll add this piece. It is wonderful, Dr. Snowden, to have someone in your life, I'm going to just talk about myself, that you can laugh with, that you can joke with, that even if there is a little spat, you know, come on, Roxy, you know you can't stay mad at me. I know you want to say something. Come on, say something. I don't want to talk right now. Come on, girl. I know you want to talk right now. Come on. You see how fine your man is. Come on, girl. I mean, you know, Bishop, you know, and I've had my moments where, well, yeah, Bishop Page, I've had to come to the reality that I am happy with her being in my life. And no matter how difficult things may be, it's better to have her there than for me to try to do life and ministry by myself. And I'm talking about me. I'm not imposing.
No, Darren, you're so right, man. I woke up this morning. I'm telling you. And I made up my mind. I made up my mind. Even preparing for tonight, I said, I can't allow my good moments to be defined because someone wanted to take a left in the conversation and go down a dark alley. I'm not going to do that. You go down that alley by yourself. I'm staying here on the main road. And I think, Tanisha, I hope Tanisha's feeling me. Tanisha, I mean, Tanisha, is so mentally and emotionally draining, particularly when your job, our jobs, the three of us, we're dealing with people all the time that's in flux, that's going through, I mean, all the time, they going through something. Now we got to talk to an unstable, well-intended, but nonetheless, the conversations always end up in some tension or ruin, and it takes away all of the great moment. And that's what I'm finding out, Tanisha. Help me with this. You too, Darren. I can have good 7 hours, but that bad 15 minutes
conversation, possibly.
It's like it seemed like that bad 15 minutes defines the rest of the day. I don't know why it is like that, but I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Tanisha?
I always talk to my clients about this, about protecting their peace, right? Because it's gold, right? You can't. Life is the best when you have peace and joy, and sometimes that means managing your relationships and understanding where people are. But as you were talking, what was coming to my mind, it was making me scream on the inside, is this idea of if I just pay attention to like the last 10, 12 years of your life, right? And how you went back to school. Because when I first met you, you were already in a doctoral program and you took a break. So when you finally come back into this world and you started doing this thing, and then you've gotten exposure, what it reminds me of when I think about your journey is you're on a journey of self-discovery. Because education is powerful, not just because of what they teach you. Could you study it on your own? And maybe, but somewhere on the journey, all of the things it takes to produce whatever it is that comes out of you allows you to find yourself. Critical things you didn't recognize that you knew before.
It does.
One of the things you find out, is particularly when you're in a doctoral program of any kind, is that before all of this was, I was, and that this does not define me like I thought it would. I have it, and it really doesn't mean what I thought it meant before.
It don't mean nothing.
It opens up your mind and you're like, oh, wow. And so it really reframes the way that you think about the world, but it also makes you hungry for knowledge and to be around more people that are hungry for knowledge, not just knowledge, but the desire to live life. And for any human that is on a self-discovery journey, which is God's desire, because ultimately he wants us to know him. And if we dig into him, he will show us who we are. So 2 weeks ago, you talked about this. You said it even the week before that. You talked about this idea of studying the Bible. And you were like, I don't study the Bible for a sermon. And it's funny because you are truly my spiritual father. We've never had this conversation. I don't even ever remember you saying this or teaching us this when we were learning to be ministers. But this is something that the Lord has taught me years ago. I never study anymore for a sermon. I just study because I want to know God.
I want to know God.
So with that mindset, you're ever on this self-discovery journey. What does that mean? You're growing. And what happens is, as we grow, if the people in our ecosystems do not grow at the same rate as us, we become unbalanced. So in order for us to continue to maintain in those ecosystems, we have to kind of stretch out a bit and find our counterparts who are also trying to live and grow and spend the majority of our time in places where there is life and light. And then we come visit the people who are low just to make sure they're good because we care about them, but we live in a high place.
Wow.
Tanisha,
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it more eloquently. And I'm gonna tell you something. Darren, I live and this is the truth. I'm telling y'all the truth. I live in a dark place. I really do. I live in a very I can't believe I've even said it, but I live in a dark space, man. Most of the time, the spaces that I live in are dark about my failures. Nobody else. I don't blame anybody for anything. I wasn't tricked. I wasn't deceived. I wasn't lied to. Nope. I did not use proper discernment, wisdom, didn't have good control, whatever it may be, whatever the area may be in my life that I have failed. I tend to live in those dark spaces from time to time. And anyone in my ecosystem will get pulled in by that tractor beam. I mean, they get sucked in it by that tractor beam. Now, I don't mean to suck them in to that space, but where the way I process the way, and then as you get older, man, the dark places can become darker because you start seeing how much you could have done, or where you are, and where you are could be tremendous in the eyes of the people. But when you're how do you say it? When you're doing a self-awareness check of yourself, and you're really honest with yourself, everybody else may be enamored with you, but you're never impressed with yourself. I'm scared of people that are impressed with themselves, because that becomes pride and arrogance. But then the other extreme could be you're in the dark. You stay in the dark too much. You got to come out of the dark. You got to come out of the dark. You can't live there, if you know what I mean. Go ahead, Darren.
I mean, Bishop, staying. I mean, that's so heavy. I think all of us may have our bouts with a dark place. Of course, some may be more excessive than others, right? And I'm certainly not the therapist here. That's Dr. Snowden. But I am discovering, again, one that's not a therapist, that when I remain in that dark place, I am also depriving myself from the light that I could enjoy, that will eventually decrease how much time I spend in that dark place. And to come to the realization that, yes, some things have occurred in my life that maybe I brought on myself, but I've got to stay in the light as much as I possibly can to correct, to the best of my ability, with the help of Holy Spirit, those people that were affected in those dark seasons of my life. And quite naturally, I'm not counseling you. I'm just putting it out there for those that may be listening, because I've come to realize, Bishop, that the enemy will have us beat up ourselves. At least I've done it over and over and over again. And then for me to stay in that place it defeats the purpose of moving forward and actually healing. And I feel, man, that we serve a God that not only does he forgive us, but he is strong when we are weak. And this is why as preachers or pastors, Dr. Snowden, I've taken the stance that I never have to portray to the congregation that I'm perfect. I can let them know I'm doing better, but I still have a ways to go to be all that God has called for me to be. I hope I said something that added value.
No. I think what happens in my opinion, this is what happens in my opinion, and Tanisha, you can chime in on this. I think I'm in a place, and I think people need to get to a place where we slow down to appreciate life's little pleasures instead of trying to achieve these monumental achievements, build Disneyland, a Disney World. I think we need to slow it down sometime and just underscore the little victories. Appreciate those things, because I think happy people, I think they know how important it is to savor
The moment.
a good meal.
Okay.
Savor the moment.
Yeah.
Savor, and I think I'm just learning this now. I'm just learning this through this self-discovery piece that Tanisha just took all my clothes off and told the world about. I think she, that self-discovery, it's, just to, savor the moment.
Yeah.
Savor the moment that we had a successful School of the Bible on Wednesday, and not prepared thinking about next Wednesday. What? Just slow down and say, man, that was a wonderful conversation tonight, and enjoy the moment. I don't think I'm probably good at it. Darren, I don't know if you're good at it.
No, I'm not.
I don't think Tanisha's that good at it. She talk a good game, but I don't think she that good at it either. I mean, just savoring the moment,
Right.
And Tanisha, you can chime in on this. I mean, tools to help me savor the moment, how to enjoy small things and not always put a check or star by the big things. Why not just the small things? Get Tanisha.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that, okay, so it's hard to address this part without addressing the other part that you had said about being in the dark place. So I gotta go there and then come back. So when you talked about the dark place, I think all of us can relate to that, right? Especially if you have lived in perpetual mistakes. And I would argue that I have lived that life. I've lived that life, constantly making mistakes, trying to get it together. And feeling horrible about how much further I could be, how it impacts my family had I done things differently. And a lot of my mistakes have been not moving forward because of fear, right? So I wasn't randomly wilding out or like doing, like the quintessential sin that people would call a sin. But if the Lord would say, move forward, I'd be like, I'm good with that. I ain't doing that because I don't want to do that. And then seeing somebody come after who excels in that, and it happening so many times in a 15-year span, and then having to live life silently obeying with no result. So I know what that feels like to be in a dark place. I think that what has changed my perspective is probably about, I want to say 8-9 months ago, I had an encounter with the Lord that changed me. And I don't even know how to describe it. It was kind of like he kept calling me to meet him at an appointment at a specific time. And I refused for 3 years. I don't want to go. It's too early. I don't got time. And I just kept showing up. And as I kept showing up, he started to show me stuff. And then he showed me myself. He showed me him first, and then he showed me me. And it changed everything. Everything changed because I showed up. And it didn't erase my mistakes, but they are so small because the moment that I turned was the moment that everything changed in my life. All the way for me to even be through some of the hurdles that I'm going through now in my my academic life is just because I turned. And so it's like I say to the dark space, you don't have to stay there, but it comes to a resolve of being able to just acknowledge that I messed up and that I have no power to fix it.
Yeah.
And then actually giving it over to God and letting Him have it for real and letting people feel their feelings. Because I am the person at this stage in my journey of self discovery. I could care less what you think about me. It is what it is. I can only do what I can do. I am where I am, and God's grace for everything else. It changes you when you can let go of what you're carrying. But it's a decision to do that. And then that adds to what you're talking about in terms of being happy. Being happy is about making a conscious decision every single day to walk every single moment, find the joy in the thing, right? It's
Yeah.
not about these big, you know, huge things that are going to take place. Like, for example, you being on the 100 list is great, but the joy is in the fact that you published the song where
Right.
you might have stalled for a long time. The accomplishment is that you did something that you may have waited to do. Now living in that moment to recognize that you did it. And you talked about it before. Living in the moment is a choice.
Yeah.
Making a decision to slow down. And when your mind says, what about next week? You tell it, no, I'm going to stay focused here. And so that's kind of what practicing mindfulness as a believer looks like. It is choosing to stay in the moment because your flesh wants to go plan for the next thing. But it's a constant effort to stay in the moment.
Wow.
And it takes practice.
Yeah. I like that. I appreciate that too. Darren, you want to add something to it before I start talking?
Man, she summarized everything that I would have said, and she also helped me to be very truthful because I'm always moving on to the next thing or the next
Yeah.
moment. Thank you, Dr. Snowden.
Yeah, I think moving on for me to the next thing, that gives me to me, it has always been a sense of accomplishment
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
I don't linger long on something that is good, but I will linger on something that is bad.
Wow.
That's
It's good.
That's pretty,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I'm wired. I'm not going to spend a lot of time waving no flag of victory.
Yeah.
But I'm going to wave a flag of defeat longer. And I think that's not healthy, but that's where I'm at.
Well, let me ask you this question. I'm wondering if the negative is what you feel like you deserve.
I think I do. But when I think about, I'm say this without getting emotional. When I think about family stuff, it causes me great grief. Now, it doesn't mean I want to go back to that. See, that's the dichotomy there. I don't want to go back to that, but the failure of that brings me great discomfort, and it kind of gnaws at me. It gnaws at me because I know there is nothing that if I really put my mind to it, I can't succeed. I can't be a success at it. That's just how I'm wired. If I put my whole mind on it and pour myself into it, it's going to yield a positive return. I think at this point in my life, I don't want to touch anything that I can't give 100% to. If that makes sense. If I can't give it my all, I know what not giving my all looks like. It looks like failure. It's incomplete. And I think that those things gnaw at me. If I'm going to write a book, I got to finish the book. If I'm doing a sermon, and I don't feel like I completed the sermon the way I wanted to complete it, I'm going back somewhere in some setting, and I'm going to complete it to the point where I feel good that I completed it. It's one of those things that I think I've been infected with since a child, Tanisha and Darren. And my parents have told me this. Once I grab something, I've got to master it. Now, that's not always a good thing because you can't master everything. And some things you never master, like playing golf. I don't care how well you play golf today. Tomorrow will probably be a bad day because you're not playing against people. You're playing against the golf course. And that's the mistake people make. They want to play against one another and not play against the course, because it's the course that's the challenge, not the person. I don't care how hard they hit it, how far they hit it, how straight they hit it. You still have to a certain amount of pars to get that ball in that hole. We all got the same amount of pars. So you may hit it further than me. I may hit it shorter than you, but we still get the same amount of strokes to get that ball in that hole. So you're playing against the course, not against a person. And I think I'm playing against failure and success at the same time. I'm playing against it at the same time, where I want to succeed, and when I succeed, no problem. But in that somewhere in that rearview mirror or on my periphery is always the possibility you can fail. And I don't know if anybody else lives like that, but that's kind of how I process it.
Can I chime in, Bishop? Mm-hmm. I can really relate to what you're saying, because I'm wired where Dr. Snowden, and maybe you can help me. Anything less than a win, I don't feel happy. Because I'm wired to, you have to win. You're going to preach, you have to be significant. You're going to do the marketplace, you have to close the deal, right? Even when I played sports, you got to get that starting position. I'm not trying to get my parents to come to the game and I'm on the bench. I want them to see me as a starter on the field.
That's right.
Right. I'm being very, so I've brought that with me. I've brought that. You got the bronze. That's nice, but you didn't win. Okay. So and I can hear my father's voice in the background. Darren, you have to win. So you're gonna do it. You have to be the best, or don't do it. So I myself, so always pushing myself, Bishop, to win. And and again, for those of you that don't know me, not trying to bite off Bishop Page, my personal failure in the background is something that I'm always trying, I guess, to accumulate enough wins, Dr. Snowden, so my wins outweigh my failure in the past in the personal space. So I can truly and authentically relate to what you're saying. And Dr. Snowden, I find myself, constantly, I'm being honest, trying to prove to certain people, especially my son, Dad's winning now. Can't you see? Dad's winning now. Can't you see?
Wow.
And, I'm being very, very honest. Dad's winning now, because I feel that if anyone knows about the pain from the loss, they do. They do. So it's constantly trying to prove to him and his sister, hey, Dad's winning now. So I can relate to what you're saying. So Dr. Snowden, I'm open in front of the world to receive whatever counsel you have in terms of that.
Well, before she give us counsel,
Yeah.
no, go ahead, Tanisha. I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna say something. But you go ahead.
I think that what you're saying, both bishops, is really powerful in that it's real space that all humans go through. And I think that something that kept coming to my mind as both of you spoke is I think that it is time to redefine what your win is. Because I think that the lens for which we are defining a win is unattainable in real life, meaning you're never going to live a life where you don't make mistakes. You're never going to be able to go back and or to do enough good to undo a bad moment. But what you can control and what you do have authority over is the now. And so instead of looking at the win as being related to how to top the failure of yesterday, it's redefining what a win looks like for you today. Think about then, so how do we do that, right? So then we think about the loss of yesterday, but not as the loss or as the fact that we made a mistake all by ourselves. Usually when there is failure, particularly in relationships, it is not the one person that is responsible for the failure. And I think that even if you made the biggest mistake, you're not the only one that's responsible
That's
for
true.
what went on. So if that be true, it's really about using the past as a guide to understand how your mind works. Self-discovery. So when I am overwhelmed by X, Y, and Z, I tend to seek comfort by doing this other thing that's not good for me. The more that I get comfort in this area, the more likely I am to fall prey to this particular behavior that could take me down that path. So let me mitigate that by dealing with what I'm feeling in this moment and have healthier tools in my toolbox to do things better today than then. Doing better today while feeling like you did in a previous moment is a win. Because if you do better with feeling unfulfilled or lost or whatever caused the failure, whatever caused you not to be 100% available, right? If you do better with feeling that emotion today, but not acting out in the way that you did in the past, it is a win. Why? Because you're going to make a better choice. And it's a day by day process. So you look 10 years down the line and all you've done is positive things because you have learned from your previous mistakes, your previous mindset, and you have done the work to heal. So then you actually are better without having to make these efforts or creating wins out of these erroneous things that are not really even connected to you personally growing. You're just creating new things for people to see your growth. But the best growth people can see comes from the inside of you outward in your actions.
You know what, Darren? I think, and this is something that I was going to say before Tanisha even started.
Yeah.
For me, success at this point in my life, watch this, is making the right decisions.
Okay.
That's success for me. Knowing that I'm making better decisions, better choices, not making the same impulsive decisions, taking time to process it. Now, this is, for me, this is a fact. The men that I'm around, the guys that I'm around, my ecosystem, we don't need a lot of affirmation. I don't know a real successful man that needs a lot of affirmation. That's a farce. That's not statistically correct. The data doesn't even show that. The data does not show that. A real successful man does not need a lot of affirmation. Now, let me say this. A narcissist does. a self-aggrandizing person does, a selfish person does, but a real successful man that knows he's making proper decisions and choices, learning from their mistakes. I don't need you to tell me I did a good job. I don't need you to tell me I'm wonderful. I don't need none of that. The what's produced is my affirmation.
Right.
The fruit that remain is my, you know what it's like? It's like a child or parent that needs their children to say to them, you're a good parent. Oh, you're a good parent. Oh, you're a wonderful mama. I don't know any parent that sits around needing the affirmation of their children to say, you know what, mommy, I know you love me. You just no, that is par for the course. That's what we are supposed to do. I'm not getting a medal for loving you. I'm supposed to love you.
Right.
Supposed to. So a real man that's succeeding, that's winning, does not need a lot of affirmation because he's doing what man's supposed to do. Now, a narcissist or someone that is trained in the art of manipulation, they need that. Tell you why? Because they're not doing anything. Any little thing they need to be affirmed. But a real man, listen, Twan is not waiting for Tanisha to pat him on the back saying, you paid the mortgage. I'm supposed to pay the mortgage. I'm supposed to take care of my family. I'm supposed to provide. Real men get joy out of seeing the product produced.
Yes.
Understand what I'm saying? So I think for me, Tanisha, I'm getting more fulfillment in life now, knowing I said no when I used to say yes. When I would go, but now I ain't going. No, I'm not going there. No, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna procrastinate. I'm gonna take care of this. I get more joy now out of the good decisions that I make. I get a good feeling from making good decisions.
Right.
You know? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Darren.
I'll say this and pass the ball over to Deisha. I think, Bishop, as men, and I'm using this metaphorically, we can sleep better when we know there's nothing that can out us, as opposed to in previous days, you slept with one eye open saying, God, I wonder when it's going to hit the fan. You know what I mean? And it may not necessarily be, an illicit relationship. It could be anything, illegal activity, poor behavior. And so I can relate to that, making better decisions, even if it doesn't grow fast, but it's still making better decisions. Even if I don't get the opportunity right now, making better decisions. You said something to me today, and I hope it's okay for me to just touch on this. You said, Darren, it's about creating, it's about things being cemented. So something may grow slow, but at least the foundation is strong. And I took that to heart, that sometimes we want stuff to move relatively fast, but once we have that foundation so strong, when it does begin to grow, we have the capacity, Dr. Snowden, to uphold it and maintain it and not lose it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what makes these studies difficult, Tanisha and Darren, is because Tanisha goes right into the deepest part
She does.
of how you really feel and kind of plays in there for a while. Just kind of plays in there for a while. and if there was a time though, going back to being a man, in my estimation, it's nothing wrong with allowing someone to probe beneath the surface of your feelings, because we as men, we don't always like to show that part. It's like when someone sees us cry, someone's quick to give us a tissue and say, no. I think it's healthy for people to see men cry and say that hurt, that I'm happy over that. Because I think when we think about crime, we always think about something sad. But why can't we ever be so overwhelmed with happiness that we cry? You know, when you were talking about Roxy, you know, those things are really heart moving, because I know it's coming from a sincere, genuine place. But Tanisha is the cause of that. She creates all of this atmosphere.
Or this mushy stuff, Bishop. Or this mushy stuff.
She creates the atmosphere for us to just unrobe ourselves and just say all kind of things. And something I was going to say was, what really makes me happy now, Tanisha, and maybe you can chime in on this, is that I'm in touch with my feelings, and I can define them.
Wow, Bishop.
You know, sometimes, I mean, I can define how I feel. Now, some people say, I don't know how I feel. No, I know how I feel. But of course, I've come to that space and that awakening.
Yeah, growth.
I know how I feel. I know what makes me happy. I know what makes me sad. I can define why I'm in a dark place. But here's the other part about a man. Men don't always like to take people to the dark place to tell them why they're there.
Okay.
That's challenge, Tanisha, to take people to that dark place, because we don't want to be judged. And it's almost natural, and particularly with women. But let me tell you about you women. You are natural nurturers and fixers. You like to fix stuff. I don't need you to fix it. Sometimes I just need you to just hear me out. See that? If you notice, Darren, Tanisha, she answers our questions and gets into the study with us, but she always uses that portal into this. This is how we fix this. This is how you repair this. Yeah, you know, we wind up being buck naked and bare while she's fixing it. You know?
Did he say butt naked?
Oh my God!
This is Bible study.
But that's how Tanisha, you know, these kind of subjects.
Yeah. I got you.
It really makes you feel exposed.
Right.
I mean, what you say, Tanisha?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know. You know what's interesting? I was just looking at my calendar here, and I gotta say, I think like 50% of my clients or more are men.
See?
So there's that, right? And you're correct. Men don't like to show that vulnerable part.
No.
And it's because they don't feel safe. And they feel like they're going to be judged.
Used against us. Tanisha, used against us. That's why Bishop Gale down there laughing. I mean, no, but I don't know if that's a natural response of humans, that once because I think we do it too. I don't think it's just reserved and isolated for females. I think men are just as piercing with information and knowledge about women as women can be with men. I think we execute differently, but I think men have a way of even silently holding on to sensitive information that a woman may have shared with them. They won't weaponize it, but they'll weaponize it in other ways, not verbally all the time, but in how they action. They become recluse.
Mm-hmm.
They become withdrawn.
True. That is true.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me you've been with that many people. I didn't. I wanted to know, but now that you told me, I'm looking at you differently, and I may have been with 1,500 more than you, or whatever that may be. But we weaponize information differently.
True. That is true.
Than women do. But for men, if I share something with you, I don't want to hear it again in another setting. But normally it does come up in anger, in an argument, in a disagreement. And I think that's where that unhealthy emotional intelligence hinders growth, where we can remain being open and transparent with each other. That's what I think.
It's good.
100%. And I think that it's important for men to be able to express what's happening for them, because they tend to take stress in a way that's so internal that they are more likely to unalive themselves. They are more likely to, do very extreme things in order to get relief, and also more likely to die of a heart attack because they have carried so many things.
Wow.
And so I think that, like, in this space, my intention is not to open people up in that way. I'm just trying to engage in a way that can allow people to think. But I think the reason why I lead with healing is because in the church world, we're open to mental health. And it's a great, beautiful idea that finally we can be validated, that we have feelings and things are going on with us. We can identify things, but we stay stuck in the identification stage in mental health, just the way that we do, where once we get saved, that's all we know. We don't go to higher heights and deeper depths in God. I just know I'm not going to hell, so after that, I'm good. And I think that that's unhealthy. If we're going to talk about mental health and we're going to talk about being well, there is a way to be free of all these things. You don't have to be bound. And so I always, not so much to fix it, but I kind of throw out these cognitive primers that there is hope, that if you're in a dark place, you don't have to stay there. There are steps out of it, and it takes work and it's painful, but you can actually live a life where the sun shines always, even in dark times. It just takes work to do that. But I want to provide the hope that you can get there. It's possible.
Pastor Hattie put something in the chat. Frankie, put that up on the screen if you can. She says oversharing is not good. That's what she put in the chat. Oversharing is not good. Frankie must not be at his computer. But here, there it is. No, that's Beverly Brown. I wanted Pastor Hattie's comment up. Oversharing is not good.
My Lord.
When she said that, Darren, Tanisha, I had something in my notes right here. Oversharing. The discussion of an inappropriate amount of detail about one's personal life. Wait. It says the disclosure of an inappropriate amount of detail about one's personal life. And then under that, it says oversharing has become commonplace thanks to social media.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I give my commentary on that, Darren, when you think about oversharing,
Yes.
that's going to be you and then Tanisha. What comes to mind when we say oversharing?
Going back to what you said in terms of weaponization, is this going to be used against me when you're upset, when you're angry? So is it best for me to give you also limited information? Because if this is going to be something that you constantly and continually bring up, then it's going to create a problem. And as a man, men don't like when things are constantly brought up that I didn't have to tell you, but I did.
Wow.
I didn't have to tell you, but I did.
What happens, Darren?
Yeah.
Because see, we in this space now where people want to know everything.
Yes.
I mean, I'm talking about they want to know every little detail,
Yes.
every sordid detail. And if you don't tell them,
Right, they're going to
and they find out about it, now they accuse you of being deceptive. I mean, it's almost 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You can't win for losing because but it goes back to the discussion. This is so good. The discussion of privacy versus secrecy.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, we're secretive, and I hate using the word secretive because secretive has a lot to do with something to hide. But Cassandra, Dr. Barnes is with us tonight. She said it will take a very mature person not to weaponize your vulnerabilities, and that's true. See, but see, here's the problem, Tanisha. Here's the problem, Darren. Here's the problem, Cassandra. Here's the problem. We don't know how immature people are until we've overshared. We don't know how fragile they are until we've overshared. And then after you overshare, you realize, oh my God, I gave my information to someone that is broken themselves. They're broken. So I expect this broken vessel who can't hold their stuff to hold on to mine. That's why, me and Dr. Dana Carson, we got into it about the privacy, secrecy piece, because I believe, if nothing more, privacy is to protect what you have an investment in. It's a privacy. I got something valuable to protect, and I'm going to protect it, even if it's nothing but my peace. Isn't peace supposed to be valuable?
Right.
I don't know. What you think, Tanisha?
I agree. I mean, again, when you just off the lens of what you were talking about in terms of privacy versus secrecy, they're totally different in the way that I view the world, because privacy is more about protection and secrecy is more about hiding something.
Yeah.
That you're afraid of someone knowing. But I think that when you talk about the oversharing thing, two things came to mind, one of which is the idea that people sometimes overshare because they're vulnerable and they need to be heard and validated and seen. And so when you are vulnerable and you need support, sometimes it is difficult for you to hold back things that you just need to release. And if you are so low, sometimes you will release it to the wrong places, which is why it's important to continue on the journey of self-discovery and developing relationships that can manage all sides of you so that you can have a safe place to land. Everybody needs that. Even if it's not a bunch of relationships, 1 to 2 relationships where you can be vulnerable is critical, specifically for men, because they typically do not have that. That relationship can be with you and your therapist if you don't have anyone outside of that, but you need a safe place to land, because the higher up you go and the more influence you have, oversharing can ultimately alter your life and influence, because if someone uses what you share against you or misconstrue it, it can mess up your influence, and that can equate to you losing resources that you need in order to do the thing that you're called or purpose to do. But I think that it is normal to overshare at times when you are carrying so much of a weight and you've never been able to land, and people are constantly coming to you with more things, but you're never unpacking your bag. So you're constantly full. Eventually, something's going to spill out. And I think that's the thing that I'm always talking to men about. Your bag is too heavy.
Wow.
And you can carry a lot. But if you keep having more stuff come into your environment before you get an opportunity to learn or to gain the ability to manage it, stuff is going to spill out. And that's what oversharing looks like. I am so filled and I've not unpacked properly. Now it's going to come out in the wrong spot, and I'm not going to be able to control it.
Well, brothers and sisters, I'm going to help you all out. Get away from people that's so full that stuff going to spill out. You better get around people that know how to manage, how to dump loads, or cast their cares upon the Lord, for he careth for you. There's certain things you can't carry, because if it gets out, if it's that time of the day or the week, if it's that time and that season where you feel overwhelmed and you just got to release something, you may release the wrong information,
Right.
or the wrong compromising information that's going to really hurt somebody else's trajectory. That's always been my concern, though, Tanisha and Darren. You know, not being able to be confidential enough, and I'm grateful to God that I have shown myself to be trusted that way. But I don't think anyone has unlimited capacity to hold on to their cares and everybody else's. I don't think that that's healthy. I don't think that that's normal. And I think it will show itself somewhere in your behavior. It's going to play out. Even if you don't say nothing, you're going to lash out. You're going to be short patience. Something's going to suffer, because we're human. We're not computers. We're human. And it's only so much data and information that we can digest. You know, listen, this was good. I want to do this. I want you both to prepare for your summations tonight, because this was, again, incredible. But I want to raise the offering and then make some announcement, and then come back and do our final summations for tonight. Okay. I'm going to challenge everyone tonight with the $30 seed. That is the seed challenge for tonight, a $30 offering. I need everybody watching the program online, YouTube, Facebook. I need you to start sowing your seed now. Okay, $30 seed. The ways to give are on your screen. I'll give you them. Cash App is $371 Highway, Givelify Highway Church, Zelle, the Highway Church 371 at gmail.com, PayPal, Highway Church. Those are the 4 platforms of giving. I'll give them to you one more time. Cash App, $371 Highway, Givelify Highway Church, Zelle, the Highway Church 371 at gmail.com, PayPal, Highway Church. Remember, generosity is the seed for more. Generosity is the seed for more. As you give tonight, put in the comment section, done with a green check mark. Done with a green check mark. Okay, sow your seed. Done with the green check mark. The liberal soul shall be made fat. Okay, sow sparingly, reap sparingly, sow bountifully, you shall reap bountifully. Okay, this is good ground. This is good ground. Giving your offering into this ministry, it is good ground. Okay, so I want you to be a blessing on tonight. You that do not have a church home and you would like to tithe into this ministry, feel free to do so. Okay, but I want you to be a blessing to the platform, a blessing to the house of the Lord. Because, hey, listen, what you hear, what you've heard, what you have been taught is priceless. I'm telling you, it is absolutely priceless. And we thank God for Dr. Tanisha Snowden and for Bishop Darren Gale, both of them that always give us the best of the best, that provide us insight and commentary that can help change our lives and help us to grow, develop, and be much better. Okay. Yeah, Cassandra, you got to see this from the beginning. It was extremely interesting on tonight. Extremely. Continue to sow your seed on tonight. Okay. Let me thank Beverly Dingle. Thank you, Beverly, for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Pastor Hattie, for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Tashika, the hair doctor. Thank you for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Mike Cologne. Thank you, Michael, for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Adrian, the woman of God from Virginia. Thank you, Adrian, for your seed on tonight. Thank you, Justina Sessions from Dallas. Thank you, Justina, for your seed on tonight. Jatan, thank you, Jatan, for your seed on tonight. Cassandra, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Barnes, for your seed on tonight. Tidra, thank you, Tidra, for your seed on tonight. Also, let me thank Bishop Darren Gale for his seed on tonight. There are many of you that are giving and you don't put your name in the chat, but if you can, do that. If not, I understand. Thank you, Linda Green. Thank you, woman of God, for your seed also on tonight. You don't want to miss prayer the rest of this week on Thursday through Saturday at the 12 p.m. hour. I want our prayer 12 to 1. And then, of course, you want to be back on the platform on Friday night for our Friday night encounter. Got a special encounter on this coming Friday night, and you do not want to miss it. Okay, you do not want to miss it. Listen, this has been also our youth and young adult Sunday, this coming Sunday. Minister Trinity Miller, Minister Michael Gatlin, myself. It's going to be a wonderful Sunday. You do not want to miss it. Okay, this coming Sunday at 12 noon. Also on April the 5th, I'm calling for all leaders to come to what I'm calling the Vision Summit. We only have 75 seats available for the Vision Summit. The registration is $50. Act, Ignite, Equip, and Improve. That is April the 5th. You do not want to miss it. The doors open up at 9, and we will be done concluding around 1 or 2 o'clock on that Saturday. There's going to be 4 vision summits that I'm going to have during the course of the year. But this is the first one, April the 5th, that Saturday morning at 9 a.m. You do not want to miss it. You only have slots for 75 people. Okay, get the word out. Get the word out. Please get the word out. I need you to register as quickly as you can. Save the date, the 26th pastor's anniversary, which will be virtually May the 2nd on that Friday night, and then May the 4th on that Sunday, 2 services, 10:30 a.m. and then also 5 p.m. So you don't want to miss it. That's our 26th pastoral anniversary, and I'm looking forward to that this year. Abronius said, I like that vision summit. Yes, it's going to be something tremendous. April the 5th. It's going to really be tremendous. All right, let me do this. Tanisha and Darren, again, I thank you so much for your insight and for your deposit into the platform, and we could not do it without you. So I'm going to start with Dr. Snowden and then with you, Bishop Gale.
I just want to encourage anyone who feels like they're living in a dark space in their life that you're not alone. This is common. It's a part of the human condition. And I want to encourage you to say that you don't have to stay there. There are steps that you can take to get out of it. And it first begins with forgiveness, whether it be of yourself, of those that harmed you and made you go to this place because it feels safer than being in the light. And then I want to share with you as well that, like, while you're in this dark space, if you don't have the strength to get yourself out of the space, you don't know how. Surround yourself with light. Light-filled people that are full of hope and possibility. They will help you to shine. They will shine around you enough for you to be able to see a path out of a dark place. If all you have surrounded by you is darkness, that's all you see, you will see. But if you can find the light, whether that be in your prayer life, your walk with God, whether that be in the connections that you have, the more light around you will lead you out of this dark space and to show you that there is a possibility, there is hope, that there is newness of life available for you.
That's fantastic, Tanisha. Wow. Bishop Gale?
3 quick things. Number 1, rediscover who you are. You are worth finding out who God's really designed for you to be. Always remember that no matter what you've gone through, it doesn't equate what God has in store for you. Pain is real. Failure is real. Bad decisions are real. But that's not the totality of who you are. I once heard Bishop Willie Jackson say that failure is success turned inside out, or failure is the womb of success. Just because you failed doesn't mean that you are a failure. As a matter of fact, it actually narrows down how closer you are to success. Secondly, surround yourself with people that don't have to keep bringing up your past, but they're in tune with your future, and they can remind you of how bright your tomorrow will be and not how dark your yesterdays have been. And last but not least, begin to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Not just going to church, but you get to know Jesus for yourself. Because a lot of folks going to church week after week, they're religious, but they don't have true relationship. But you, my friend, you, my sister and brother, you get to know Jesus for yourself, and you will see that he is truly one who loves you no matter where you've been, and he loves you on your way to your destiny.
Wow, that was absolutely incredible. From Dr. Snowden, from Bishop Gale. If I was going to add anything to it, which I don't have much to add, but if I was going to add much to it, it would simply be learn to love yourself, express gratitude, label negative feelings to dilute their power. That's a good one right there. Label. I mean, I'm talking about label negative feelings to dilute their power. Don't ignore the negative feelings you may feel. Heed to your moral compass. Lend a helping hand to people. And watch this, Tanisha. You like this one. Know the power of touch. Know how valuable it is to be connected to community and to people. And please embrace what God gave me this year. Courtesy is the new currency. Just treat people right. Learn from the mistakes of the past.
Yes.
You can't change it. You cannot change it. And dark places are real, but they don't have to be your permanent destination.
It's good. It's good.
Dark places are real, but it doesn't have to be a permanent destination. And sometimes I think it's healthy, as Tanisha said earlier, as Darren said earlier, talking about a balance. I think there's a reason why there's bitter and there's sweet. There's darkness and there's light. I think that we learn from all of those things, but neither place should be the permanent destination. You can't just live in happiness. That's unrealistic. You just can't live in dark places, sadness. That's suicidal. But there has to be a healthy ebb and flow of life where you appreciate the good because you've tasted some bad. You have appreciation for victories because you know what it is to suffer some defeat. I think life is about learning from both ends of that spectrum. So I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a good place. And I think, and I always say, you all that need further coaching and therapy, particularly in mental health, you need to reach out to Dr. Tanisha Snowden. She can help you kind of navigate through some of those mental minefields. And she's a trusted voice in our ministry and certainly on this platform. Okay, listen, man, I love y'all. I thank y'all. I want to thank everybody for pushing that song into the top 100 on the Billboard charts. I am so excited. I am so happy about it. And as I often would say, the best is yet to come. So I'm excited for everyone. Keep Rebecca McGee Flewellen in prayer. Keep my mother and father in prayer. Keep our ministries in prayer. Anyone in your family, we're praying for them. And we know that God is truly up to something. And remember this, just remember this. God continually gives his best to those that give their best to him. Have a great night. I love you. And we'll see you. The three of us will see you next week on Wednesday. School of the Bible. God bless.
Bye.